All right, what's going on? What's going on? You listening to King Cam and Ujumbe podcast and Ujumbe means message. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while, and I am very glad that you guys are still rolling with me. Man, this is it's the fall. It's the fall, and goodness, the summer came and went, didn't it? But shout out to all the new fam that has come through. We have like over 650 subscribers, and a lot of you guys are active, and I really appreciate it. Shout out to the fam all over the diaspora. I needed a break. We had birthdays, we had the Queen and I had our anniversary, and school just started. So I'm in a new position. So I am no longer teaching social studies. I am now a professor and I teach freshman orientation. That is EDUC 1300 learning frameworks for Cedar Valley College. So it's a little different. It's a little different. And I had to make some adjustments. I had to make some changes, but hopefully eventually I would be able to teach history on the collegiate side, which is going to be awesome. But shout out to you guys, and I'm really glad that you guys are still rolling with me, still listening, still viewing, and all the wonderful things. I'm really grateful for you guys. But yeah, I don't want to waste your time with all that. Let's get to the business. Let's get to the reason why we're here. Um, we're going to continue the work. We're going to continue to do the things that we set our hearts and minds to do. And I'm just glad that you guys are on this journey with me. Let's roll. Okay. Now, here we go. The native name of Egypt was Kemet, the Black Land. The name came not so much from the color of the soil as the hue of the inhabitants. You know, I hate the typos. I'm going to have to fix that. But yeah, Sister Houston came out swinging. She wasn't playing, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. A lot of people would like to say, no, it's symbolic. No, it wasn't symbolic. It was literal. Okay, the native name of Egypt was Kim or Kemet, the Black Land. The name came not so much from the color of the soil as the hue of the inhabitants. The people that lived there were black. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to King Cam and Jubei podcast. We're all over the place now. We are everywhere. We're don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all the wonderful things. But we on. So and we're back. And thank y'all for allowing me to take a break. All right. Here we go. We in chapter 5, Prehistoric Egypt, the Land of Wonders. That is chapter 5, Prehistoric Egypt, the Land of Wonders. This is an introduction to African history geared just for you, designed to foster a life of learning. It should be once a week, but sometimes we miss, right? We go over a few readings on the continent. Are there other civilizations outside of Africa, in Africa, outside of Kemet? Yes. Okay. But we're talking about Kemet today. All right. Ancient Kush. Now, we've had some fam that mentioned that tried to separate Ethiopia from Nubia, from Sudan, but at once upon a time along the Nile River Valley, everybody was together. There was no such thing as state lines as the colonizer put them together. They was all united. There was cultural continuity. Um, they were one. But now there were kings here and in one group and kings there. But Ethiopia, Nubia was basically the terms were interchangeable, if you understand. All right, so let's get it. We're still on the book, The Wonderful Ethiopians and Ancient Cushite Empire. The link is in the description. Yes, I am an Amazon affiliate, and I earn from qualifying purchases with no additional cost to you. So check it out. I have a couple of books that I recommend in the links in the description. So check them out, So let's go. All right, the essential question for the day. Who were the influencers of ancient Egypt? Man, yeah. We have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. Let's go. And the second one, how ancient is Egypt? Okay. Now understand, I'm using the word Egypt, but we understand for my scholars in the back, Kemet. Okay, Tameri. All right. I get it. All right. But you know, for this is African History 101. So but let's go. Okay. And we got to go back to it. The native name of ancient Egypt was Kemet, the land, the black land. The name came not so much from the color of the soil, but the hue of its inhabitants. Prehistoric Egypt, before the dynastic period. All right. Egypt was inhabited in the ancient days by two races or two distinct divisions of one group. It's like two different neighborhoods occupying a county. Okay. In Dallas County, in the city of Dallas, there's Pleasant Grove, there's Oak Cliff. They're same group of people, okay, but two different zip codes. That's basically how we can break this down, right? Ancient records would testify that the ruling class in those times was Ethiopian. I keep ringing this bell. The priest, the kings, the people of any sort of influence and power came from the South. All right. Now, prehistoric Egypt was founded the powerful priest caste or group. The priesthood included judges, physicians, astrologers, architects. We discussed this in our discussion last summer about stolen legacy, how they went to school for this. It wasn't just priests that were, say, like our preachers nowadays on Sunday morning, they say a few things, they give the word, and they say, no, they were judges. They was interacting among the people on a regular. But now when it came down to the esoteric and the symbolic nature of things, yeah, it rested squarely on them. But they were the doctors, they were the lawyers, there was all these things, in addition to being a priest. All right. They were multi-talented, multifaceted. All right. So yeah, the priesthood included judges, physicians, astrologers, and architects. I will add that video for those who want to reference. But yeah, it was a school, men and women, men and women. All right, let's go. Osiris, the dude. Okay, Osiris. I'm gonna put it out there. The Nubian. How about that? How about them apples? Right now, prehistoric Egypt. The Ethiopians say that the Egyptians are a colony drawn out of them by Osiris. There's a lot of record there. There's a lot of information saying that Osiris was literally, in fact, a king, but he was a king before the pharaonic Egypt. He was a king before the pharaonic age. So before Menes, before the Scorpion King, before many others. We're gonna shout out to Big Brother Mo. We will get into that. We are gonna have that discussion. Okay. Uh, I want to delve into this a little bit more on one of my lives. So we're gonna get back going live too. But the Ethiopians say that the Egyptians are a colony drawn out from, they came from the South. It's like when our parents move from one place to another, that's where they come from. Okay. So yes, Osiris, there is, matter of fact, there is a tomb in the Heliopolis, to my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Osiris' tomb is there. So he was a real person. All right, let's go. All right, the Sphinx or the Heru Emaket and the pyramids are symbols of some form of the old race. And they had African features. They had those features in his face. So he wasn't just a random individual. They made what they saw. All right. And the Egyptians in latter days affirmed that they and their civilization came from the tribes of Punt or Taneter, or God's land, as Hatshepsut mentioned. So the Sphinx is older by record. It's older, scientific fact. It's older than the pyramids, like 10,500 years old. The ancient, the old race, the ancestors of the ancestors. Think about that. When they talked about the Shemsu Haru, or the followers of Haru that ruled this land before the dynasties kicked off. This was thousands of years before this. That's crazy. All right. Check it out. Now, it didn't come from the north or the east. The culture must have been imported from the south, or for as E.A. Wallace Budge affirms, that the Egyptians had all the characteristics of an African race, African people. It wasn't from the Mediterranean. It wasn't from up north. They came from the south. Said it many times, came from the foothills and the mountains of the moon where God dwells. That is Kenya. That's Mount Kilimanjaro. That's from the south. All right. Now, the early population of Thebes or Waset was Nubian. That was the seat of power, y'all. And that was another reason why Akhenaten got in trouble, because he moved his throne to another random location, but the seat of power was in Waset, was in the south. They wanted to remain connected. Egypt as a country, as a civilization, Kemet as a nation who had knowledge of self. They knew that their mother was Nubian and their grandmother was Ethiopian. So they want to be close to the point of origin, not away from it. Yeah, let's continue. Egypt had no infancy because its first colonists had been civilized in Ethiopia. The knowledge was just passed down and advanced. By the time Egypt kicked off, they had 10,000 years of information already uploaded. Think about that. Think about that. When Menes came into power, the situation was already put together. The system was already in place. Okay, Egypt did not begin with him. Matter of fact, it didn't start with him. It just so happened he was the one that was famous for it. Granted, for sure he united Egypt. He united the tribes and everything. But as far as a high culture, it was already established, fam. It was already put together. All right. So one of the temple records called Menes, or the Scorpion King, a Theban, or in other words, Nubian. And Nubia was in Meroe. They point south. And he had been a priest of Upper Egypt. I mentioned this before also, that the kings were priests, and they had to have that knowledge also. The priests weren't the only ones. The kings, in order for you to be king, you had to go through that process. You had to go through the priestly process. You had to be raised. You had to be taught. And they started at a young age. They didn't just say, hey, you're going to be king tomorrow, so we need to teach you all this. From birth, they learned this information. They learned the liberal arts and sciences. They learned the meta nature. They learned the symbolisms of these items and what these means and what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and the politics of it all. They were raised in this. Right now, I said before, the rulers were priests, kings, and at death they would deify. King Menes was no exception. He had to go through that process. Yes, he may have been a great warrior, but let's deal with the science. Let's deal with the science. And he had to get down with it. He had to handle it. Now, the priest of Sais said to Solon, who was a Greek philosopher, you Greeks are novices in all the knowledge of antiquity. You are ignorant of what passed here or among yourselves in the days of old. That's what the priest told them. Y'all don't know what's going on here. And I think based on that tone, I don't think the Greeks really wanted to know for real. It's like people coming to school, but you didn't want to learn. You just here for free lunch. The Greeks came to Kemet for free lunch. They really didn't want to learn anything. They just want to be in the area. Just to say that they were there. No. You know nothing about what's going on here. right? The history of 8,000 years is deposited in our sacred books, but they continue. I'm sorry, they continue. The history of our 8,000 years is deposited in our sacred books. You know, the King's List and the Hall of Records under the Sphinx. And he says, but we can ascend to much higher antiquity and tell you what our fathers have done for 9,000 years. If you sit down and listen, basically. 9,000 years. That is wild. They're telling the Greeks this. And we think ancient Greece and Rome is old, but they're saying we're way older than this on record. Now, I have more to talk about, but I'm running out of time. But let's go. What's next? We're gonna deal with chapter 6. Hopefully I will get into the live and really have a more of a deep discussion. And I didn't bring the book with me. I want to read a few things, but hopefully we'll go live and talk about it. We're gonna discuss chapter 6 and more on ancient Kush. Check out Sister Danita Smith, Yaya Sabaka. Shout out to him. Much love to him, and AE Learning. Yeah, we got still the books, Ethiopia, and pre-colonial Black Africa by Cheka Diop, and the temples of ancient Nubia and ancient Egypt and Black Africa. I really appreciate you guys for coming. We just talked about chapter 5, prehistoric Egypt, the land of wonders. We're gonna get more into it, and I will talk to you guys later. And I hope you guys have a good day, and talk to you later. Peace.